Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So as the title suggests, this makeup look is inspired by the month of Pride, and as you guys may know, June is the month of Pride where we celebrate the LGBTQ group, and obviously this is a call for a celebration because after all these years of fighting and all that stuff, they have finally gained their freedom to express. So this makeup tutorial is actually dedicated to all my LGBTQ group of friends and followers, and I hope you guys will love it too. And you know what? If you happen to recreate this look, please do tag me. I would love to see it. So we're gonna start off the makeup with my eyebrows first. I've already done one eyebrow off camera. This eyebrow I'm doing on the camera, and for that I'm using my Morphe brow mousse, and that is called chocolate mousse. It's actually a brow cream, and I'm using an angular brush by Inglot, and it is in the number 31T. All the details of these products will be posted down below on the description box. The spoolie that I'm using right now, it's called Morphe M115. Moving on to next, it's time to prep the lid. For that, I'm going to be using some concealer. The first concealer that I've used is by Age Rewind Concealer, and I'm using MAC 195 brush. Now, I will have to warn you this makeup look, definitely the base probably is not like a lot, but when it comes to the eyeshadows, there's a lot of eyeshadows because we are playing with like a lot of colors. Also, this video is not a small video. This is a pretty long video. I tried to make it as short as possible, but it was very difficult for me because I was gonna do both eyes on camera because both eyes are completely different and has different color combinations. So it's not like the same eyes and I could show you one eye and not show you the other and it's the same thing. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of concealer going around the eyes, and it's absolutely fine. Now, if you have if you happen to have lines underneath, you want to put less underneath. Like when it comes to concealer, I don't have a lot of lines underneath my eyes, luckily, because I've been very hydrated recently, so it's good. But I do have some dry patches, and you will see what I mean by the end of my foundation routine though. I'm gonna set all of that concealer I just applied using some translucent powder by Mercier. And now moving on to the palette. The palette really doesn't have any name, but you know this is the James Charles palette, which is a very popular, colorful palette. So the palette scheme is outstanding. So the first color I'm going to go with is the bright yellow on the very bottom row. Actually, not on the very bottom row, very first row, and second one from the bottom. And I'm going to pop that yellow color on my inner corners for both my eyes. And the trick to get the most pigment out of these eyeshadows is to really pack them on. So you want to dab it and not swipe it too much. Because again, we want to, kind of create a compact of all the colors. Then moving on to the next color, which is like an orangey shade, I'm going to now start prepping one of my eyes. It's kind of like creating a shade, like I love, for some reason though, I love to tell you this, okay? When I started doing this tutorial, I was so nervous. I didn't know how it's gonna look on me. I have seen it on James Charles. I have seen it on a few other artists. I didn't know how it's gonna turn on me, so I was super nervous about this tutorial. So now I'm working on my other eyes, and I'm working with the green and the blue palette on this eye. The brush that I've used for this one is actually one of my favorite. I'll show you. I've seen Nikki tutorial use this a lot. This is the M562 by Morphe. Next, I'm going to use this two colors, a little orangey, and then you have the bright red, like a tomato red, right? And the brush that I'm using for this side of my eye is called MAC 221. And I've used pretty much the same brush for the transition of the orange tone and the red tone. Okay, now I'm going to work on the other side of my eyes, and using that same Morphe brush, I picked up the dark green, and I'm just carefully applying that. This is a very, very thin very fine and thin brush compared to the MAC 221. Next, I'm going to be using these 4 colors. So the hot pink, the light, darker pink, and then you have the lighter purple, and then it slowly moves into the darker purple. So here I'm kind of creating like, you know, like yellow, light orange, deeper orange, bright red, hot pink, then moving into like a magenta, and then eventually purple. So this side of the eyes is going to work with those colors. The close-up of all these eye colors have been posted on my social media, on my Instagram. So if you want to see a close-up eye look, how it looks, it's actually posted on my Instagram, so you can actually go on it. It's called Makeup by Mary, so you can always go on it and see my other photos. And I'm just basically bringing that purple tone, oh my gosh, purple tone, and I'm kind of starting to work on my under eyes. Also create a little bit of that outer corner. Here I'm going to be working with this 3 blues. For some reason, with the green and the light green and the dark green, I couldn't get a lot of colors in the palette, but whatever colors this palette had was amazing because it helped me create these amazing eyeshadow looks. So it's good enough for me. Although I do have other Morphe color palettes, but I didn't want to bombard you guys with too many palettes because it's gonna get confusing, and a lot of you may not even have that many palettes. So you know what, James Charles palette is amazing because it had the right amount of matte colors that I needed. And now here on this side, I'm bringing the blue down because that's the darkest color on this side of my colors. And here I'm just going to also darken up my outer corners a little bit with the same blue color. The brush for this that I'm using, I'll have to see, hold on. It's called Morphe M507, the one I'm using to use the blue. Now, again, like I warned you before, this eye makeup is going to have a lot of concealer on the lid, I'll tell you that, because we're trying to create like a half cut crease look, right? So for this, I'm using Benefit Boing Cakeless Concealer. Luckily, this concealer actually doesn't, it doesn't crack or anything like that. It actually stays pretty strong, so yes. You see how I looked up? I actually looked up because it creates that line, and then now I can follow that line to create my cut crease so that when I open my eyes later, it's not going to ruin all that color I just put. So that is kind of like my guideline, how far down or up I want that crease to go. So all that fallout, I'm going to clear it up with some makeup remover. For that, I'm using my Hydra Makeup Remover by NYX Cosmetics. You can also use like a makeup wipe if you have that. I've been recently using this because I ran out of makeup wipes and I don't want to go to stores because honestly, I'm so scared of corona that I don't even step out much out of my home. Now to clear up that makeup remover so that I can put on makeup after, I'm using Vitamin C Juice Cleanser, also by NYX. This is helping me clean my entire face basically. So once that concealer is dried, I'm going to apply one more coat, and the reason why I'm doing it, if you can see, the bottom coat is already getting the colors. See what I mean? So I just want to make sure that it looks clean and clear. So when I do double coating of concealer, it's going to now start to look clean. And because I'm going to apply only white eyeshadow, this is the reason why I actually had to double it up to make sure that any other color doesn't kind of seep through the concealer. So that is the reason why I applied it twice, to make sure it looks neat and clean and clear. Alright, so now moving on to the gel eyeliner. For that, I'm using my Morphe gel eyeliner, and it is in the shade Jet Gel Liner, which is like in black, right? The brush that I'm using is actually by Sigma Cosmetics, and it has become like my favorite brush. I have this brush for a long time. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't use it, but every time I've ended up using it, I actually love this more than any other angular brush I've ever used for an eyeliner. So I personally don't like angular brush. I don't know why, but to me it doesn't help. I actually like this one. This is Sigma Eyeliner E05. This is actually so good. There's another Sigma eyeliner brush that I used to like. I don't have it on me right now, but I will show you what I mean in one of my other tutorials if I happen to use that one. That is also a favorite one, but currently I've been obsessing with this pencil a lot. This brush a lot. Pencil, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, moving on to black eyeshadow. This is going to actually close the weird outer corners that I have, right? Because there's like a blue on one side and purple on one side. I just want to now blend this eyeliner and the color on the top together and marry them together with a little bit of that shade of black. For that, I'm using Inglot 10S brush. And here I'm just blending away the edges so it looks more blended and nicer, but make sure to use two different brushes. You don't want to use the same brush on both sides because they are like, even though you're blending it out, but they have two different color scheme. Now it's the interesting part. So I didn't want to keep my lid empty and white, right? Because it just looks too plain. So I'm using this very like iridescent kind of look and glitter. This is by Heavy Metal Urban Decay and it is in the shade called Pyro. Yeah, P-I-R-O, Pyro, whatever. But this is pretty, eh? I have to tell you, this is super pretty. Look, as you can see, it looks nice. It's very like muted color. You can only see it if the sun hits it kind of look. I will show you what it looks like under real sunlight. You know, now I'm under studio light, but I'll show you once I go out in the sun by the window. I'll show you that at the end of this video what it looks like. For my mascara, I'm using Bad Girl Bang by NYX Cosmetics. Went back to my original ones. I love them. Now these lashes are a bomb. I love them. They're Canada-made lashes, and I love anything Canadian. Obviously, I'm all about supporting my people. So these are by Star Beauty Co. I will link their Instagram down below, and the style I'm using, it's called Hollywood. So I actually had to pick Hollywood. There's something called Toronto. There's some other called like Toronto, New York, Miami, and stuff like that. But when I saw Hollywood, I was like, yes, baby, I have to use Hollywood for this look. This look needs to be like va-va-voom kind of look, right? Because obviously, this is not like one of my usual look. I don't do two different eye color and go out in the public. So this is my unusual one. So I'm just gonna prep my skin now with some Milky Hydrating Lotion by Pixie Cosmetics. And this is because I just cleaned my face with some vitamin C, so it's time to apply some lotion. I actually forgot that I just applied black eyeshadow, and look what I just did. It's all good. I just went back to my vitamin C juice cleanser again and I cleaned that. Instead of using my makeup remover, I just used the juice cleanser. I think it did a pretty good job too. So for foundation, I'm going to be using my HourGlass foundation. It's been a long time I haven't used this foundation. I think 6 months. It has for sure been 6 months. This is in the shade Amber. I don't know why, guys, but HourGlass Stick foundation, every time I have used it, I have watched Patrick Star use it. I love it. I fall in love with it. The coverage is just so stunning. When you when you have like a heavy makeup eye, like heavy makeup on your eye, and you want to keep the base kind of full coverage but not put too many layers, this foundation is the best for that. It just works instantly, and instantly just covers everything. I don't have to do color correcting, none of that. And it gives you that full flawless coverage. Now for concealer, I'm using the same Boing concealer by NYX Cosmetics. And I'm doing my usual drill. I'm just highlighting the higher points of my face. I'm going to be blending it out with the same brush I've used to blend out the foundation. This is one of my favorite foundation brush. I have a separate one for my clients as well. And I go back to these every time, whether it's my client or myself. This is the Pro Foundation brush in number 47 by Sephora. One of my favorite brush. And every time you visit a Sephora and they do a foundation test on you, you will see them using this brush. They also have a smaller version of this brush too. Sometimes use that one as well. So here I'm just basically baking my face with some Laura Mercier powder. So this is what I mean. Once I start dusting away the powder, you will see what I mean. I have this like dry patches in my skin lately. I don't know why I'm getting them, but you guys probably know like I had like thyroid, so I feel like thyroid kind of comes and goes now, but it's not at that dangerous level, but I still feel like it's coming and going. So whenever I feel like it's coming and going, I know because my skin gets a little dry. So right now, if you see underneath my eyes, I have a little bit of that dry skin. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use makeup setting spray. A lot of times you guys have questioned me about dry patches. What do you do when you get a dry patch all of a sudden? You just take some makeup setting spray onto a brush and dab it on that dry spot. It will be gone instantly. For some reason, makeup setting spray actually has an ingredient that melts everything together and makes your skin like velvety, soft, and beautiful. So that trick actually is done by the makeup setting spray. That's why makeup setting sprays are so important, and you know, like makeup artists dies to pack on as much as makeup setting spray as possible. For this makeup setting spray, obviously I went with the Morphe one because I love the way it actually sprays on your face. For contour and bronzing altogether, I'm using my Hoola bronzer. It's probably the most easiest one because it does kind of like 2-in-1 for me, and because I don't want to put a lot of layer on my face, this worked out pretty good. So I'm gonna contour my nose, and once it's done, I'm gonna just start cleaning all of that, like my surroundings, using some NC42. Again, because I could see some dry skin after applying NC42, I'm gonna spray myself with some makeup setting spray. Once you see the makeup setting spray has gone up, you can now see my skin is starting to look flawless and there's barely any dry patches. I don't see it. So for my highlight, obviously I have to go with Jeffree Star Cosmetics. For that, I've used Skin Frost in the shade called Siberian Gold. It's my favorite one, and I actually used to use a lot of this on my brow bone, but you will see what I mean. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. I also use this on a little bit of my inner bottom corners of my eyes, not really inner corners, but wait till I put it on the brow bone. Look. You know when you do bridal makeup and you put this on the brow bone, oh my gosh, that gold tone, because it's called Siberian Gold, so it has a very beautiful rich gold look. Kind of like a copperish, or not yellow, but looks beautiful. For my lipstick, I went with Morphe. I'm using a lot of Morphe for this makeup look. It's called Schoolgirl. Oh, that's actually quite easy to remember. Schoolgirl. It is kind of like a pinkish, nudish, but not super pink. It's kind of like in the middle. I really loved it. Blush, I've used Just Pinched by LA Girl Cosmetics. It's actually a favorite blush. I use this quite a lot because it's kind of like a peachy tone. I thought I don't want to keep my lips matte, so I went with some NYX lip oil. This is not a gloss, it's actually a lip oil, so it's really good for your lips. Even if you don't want to apply it on top of lipstick, you can just apply it like that. It has a little hue of like color, but it is definitely lip oil, not lip gloss. So that's it, guys. This is the final look of this makeup look. I'm so sorry I couldn't keep this makeup tutorial less than 10 minutes because there were so many steps and so many things I wanted to share, tips and tricks, you know, like dry patches, how to work with them and all that stuff. So there it is. This is the final look of this makeup look. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this tutorial. This is something completely out of my comfort zone. I don't work with, I do love colors and I work with colors, but I definitely haven't worked with a color where two of my eyes are looking completely different. But for some reason, I was living for this look. Like, I actually went to grocery store right after this wearing this makeup, believe it or not. But I love how it turned out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and I think this is a perfect look to pull for the month of June. And all my fellow friends, if you end up trying this makeup look, please do tag me on Instagram and follow with those pictures that I'm going to post up on my social media at Makeup by Mary on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time on my next video. Till then, take care, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. By the way, this is what it looks like under the sunlight. Like promised, I wanted to show you what it looks like under the real sunlight. This is what it looks like. And I think this looks better than what it looked under the studio light. Thank you so much for watching once again. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And yes, I'll see you on the next video. Ta-da!